Work it harder, make it better, do it faster. I still get lost, what's mine? Memories back from.
I'm giving you a night call to ask you, what's the deal?
All right, now just for fun, let's play back what my voice sounded like before, and then we'll throw on the effect for the chords in the lead.
Tonight, I just wanna take you high.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to create 5 famous vocoder and Talkbox effects, and I'm also going to leave a link for you to get these presets and more, so definitely check that link below. Now, this video isn't all about presets. It's also a great way to show you how to do things on your own, step by step with OVox, so that by the end of this video, you'll have a good grasp and understanding of how to use the plugin. Maybe even learn some things you didn't know if you already have it. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dig right in, starting with this first one, inspired by the Bruno Mars song, 24 Karat Magic. This preset is called 24 Magic Carats.
I just wanna know you.
You got the chords. And the lead. This one is meant to be played either with your MIDI keyboard or with MIDI notes on a MIDI track. Just make sure the outputs on your MIDI channel are assigned to the vocal channel with OVox inserted. Now back on the plugin, you want to change the source to MIDI and switch OVox 1 from classic to Talkbox. And already you should start to hear the effect when you sing and play.
Ooh, set the MIDI and play those chords out.
Let's open up the harmonics a touch, bring up the noise, adjust the high pass filter, and then we'll take the unison voices to 4. We'll detune it and bring up the spread to thicken it up a little bit more. And now I'm just going to shift the formant just to open up the sound a little bit more. We'll turn up the synth to give it that synth layer. And then we'll finish it off with a compressor, a little chorus, and the reverb. The original song's got that lead as well, so for that, we'll do what we just did for the chords, except we're just going to variate this time. We'll open up the harmonics a little bit more. We'll bring the voices to 2, and then I'll detune very slightly and also bring the spread down. I want to put the lead more in the center. We're going to take the formant modulator and put it on the formant, dial up the modulation, and that's going to make it move based on the vowel sound you give into it. To finish it off, we'll use the distortion instead of the chorus. So we'll just slide that over to the first insert. All right, now just for fun, let's play back what my voice sounded like before, and then we'll throw on the effect with those adjustments we made for the chords in the lead.
Tonight, I just wanna take you high.
This next effect is inspired by the Kavinsky song, Nightcall. We're also going to use MIDI to generate this one, but unlike the last preset, this one has a more vocoder influence.
I'm giving you a night call to ask you, what's the deal? I think I left my car last night down the hill.
You've got OVox 1 for that breathy layer,
I'm gonna show you this preset.
and OVox 2 for that robotic vocoder layer.
I'm gonna show you this preset.
So let's take this back to full reset. I'm going to change the note source to MIDI. The first part is this breathy layer on OVox 1, and for that, I went with the nose attack filter. I brought the shape all the way to spike, kept the harmonics at 1, brought the noise up, and then used the low pass filter. On the unison, I switched the voices to 2, and then turned the spread down to about 50. And then to tailor it to my voice, I opened up the formant and adjusted the voice dynamics.
I'm giving you a night call to tell you
How I feel. I wanna drive you through the night.
For the next layer, I went with the Robocopy filter for OVox 2, opened up the harmonics, and then dragged the shape over to give it a more square wave sound.
How I feel about driving through the night.
And then on the unison, I brought the voices to 4, a touch of detune, we'll spread it out. And now I'm gonna adjust the formant and voice dynamics and bring back OVox 1.
I'm gonna tell you something you don't want to hear. I'm gonna drive all through the night, so have no fear.
On the effects, we finished it off with the compressor, and then I gave it a little degradation with the distortion on buzz mode.
You and I call to tell you how I feel. I wanna drive you through the night, down the hills.
This next one is inspired by the intro to the Beastie Boys track, Intergalactic.
Intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic, intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic.
Now, this is a good way to show you how to create pitch bends and glide effects with OVox. This one is super robotic and monotonic, so underneath the built-in scales, we're gonna choose monotonic, and I'm gonna turn on the note mapper. The intro of this track is in the key of B, so we're gonna set that. We're gonna start the sound off on OVox 1 with the classic filter in these settings.
Intergalactic, planetary.
And then on OVox 2, we've got a more square wave type sound.
Intergalactic, planetary.
All right, now we're gonna use one of the modulators for this. So on mod 1, we'll change the rate to 8 bars. We'll drag it onto the tune of Vox 1 and 2, and we're gonna dial both of those up to 100. All right, you won't hear a change yet. So we're gonna take this pencil tool right here to draw in a curve. Now we can go down.
Intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic.
We can make it go up.
Intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic.
We can make it go up and down.
Intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic.
Wherever you want to take it, it'll track and bend the pitch any way you draw it in. It all depends on the key you set in the note mapper. And then to give it a little extra at the end, we're gonna put the compressor, add a little chorus, some delay, and some reverb.
Intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic, intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic.
This next one is inspired by the Daft Punk song, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger.
Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger, more than ever, hour after hour, work is never.
I mean, we can do a video of just Daft Punk presets. The Vocoder and the Talkbox are embedded in their signature sound. OVox actually comes out the box with a few of these. You got Around the World, Get Lucky, Doing It Right. There's even a couple Harder, Better, Faster presets already built into the plugin. So right now, I'm gonna show you the simplest way to achieve these from scratch. So let's take this back to full reset. We're gonna turn the note mapper on. I'm gonna set the scale to E flat. The session I got right here is in E flat. Then I'm gonna choose monotonic. So first we've got the classic filter in these settings on OVox 1.
Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger.
And then we've got the Churchill filter in these settings on OVox 2.
More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over.
I'm gonna give it a little more brightness with the tone.
Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over.
All right, now here's where the modulators come in. We're gonna create two sequences. The first one with mod 1. So we're gonna drag it onto the tune of OVox 1 and 2. Dial both of those up 100%, and then change the modulation type to sequence. And now you want to adjust each of these step numbers according to the position of the scale you want to hit. I'm gonna show you this one step by step, starting with 2 steps,
Work it harder, make it better.
then work my way up to 4 steps,
Work it harder, make it better.
then 8 steps,
Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger.
16,
Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger.
All right, now with mod 2, we're gonna create the second sequence. But before we do that, we're gonna save this sequence right here and variate off of this. So to do that, click on this folder icon right here. That's gonna open up the list of patterns. And then what you wanna do is click on this save icon right here. And that's gonna save it into this list with the others. Now, since we're gonna work with mod 2 right now, I'm just gonna turn the level down all the way on mod 1 just to isolate mod 2. Now on mod 2, since we're only just creating a variation of the first one, you wanna just open up these 16 steps and then select a sequence from the list right here. It pops up, and then we can make our adjustments right from this. So I'm gonna take mod 2 and drag it onto the tune of OVox 1 and 2, dial up the modulation to 100 on both of these, and now I'm gonna make my adjustments to the sequence below. All right, now here's that sequence on mod 2.
More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over.
The final step is we're gonna use mod 3 to control mod 1 and 2. So on mod 3, we'll set the rate to 2 bars and create 2 steps. Now we're gonna drag mod 3 onto the level of mod 1 and 2. On mod 1, we're gonna dial up the modulation to 100. Now we'll take mod 3 and drag it onto the level of mod 2. And then we're gonna dial down the modulation to minus 100. The very last thing we'll do is on mod 3, on step 1, you wanna bring this all the way up to 24. And on step 2, we're gonna bring this all the way down to minus 24. And now you've got these 2 sequences varying in time and alternating every 2 bars.
Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over.
This last preset is inspired by the Kanye West track of Donda 2 called Get Lost.
I still get lost at night, lost in my dreaming time. Memories back from fine, back to get on my time.
And for those of you out there that also have the Harmony plugin, it works the same way here as well. Let's take it back to full reset. The first thing I'm gonna do is bring up the voice, and then I'm gonna set the correction to hard to get that auto-tune effect.
Auto-tune.
We've got OVox 1 with the classic filter in these settings,
I still get lost at night.
and then combine that with OVox 2 in these settings.
Lost in my dreaming time.
I'm also gonna add that synth layer to thicken it up overall.
I still get lost at night.
Now that we have our basic sound set up, we're gonna be using the MIDI keyboard to generate the effect. So on the plugin, switch the note source to MIDI. And again, just make sure you're sending the output of your MIDI track to the vocal track with the plugin inserted. So if you play and sing now, you should already be able to hear the effect.
I still get lost at night.
So for this, instead of playing the chords, we're gonna make this even easier by using the note mapper, and we're gonna trigger the chords with one note. Let's turn on the note mapper, then click on this icon right here, and that brings up the keyboard editor. We're gonna create our own custom chord pattern, and then we're gonna trigger these chords with that vocoder style effect by hitting only one key. What you wanna do is choose the note you wanna trigger on your MIDI keyboard, then select it here in the pink, and then you can either click or play the notes on your keyboard to assign them and build the chord out. When you're done, unclick the pink square, hit the note and sing into it to check it out.
I still get lost, what's mine?
Boom, you got the full chord off of one key. So let's create a quick sequence. Click on the pink note, build the chords out. And all I'm doing here is I'm just trying to mimic what I think the chords are in the actual track. When you're done with that, you can save the chord pattern by hitting the save icon right here. And then you can put it into the menu as any name you want. All right, now for the finishing touches on this, open the EQ. We're gonna roll off the lows. And then we're gonna create a high shelf right around 3K. We're gonna attenuate it. And then using the amplitude modulator, we're gonna drag that onto the frequency knob and onto the gain knob on band 4. And now, the louder I sing into it, the more it's gonna open up.
Memories back from fine, back to get on my time.
On the effects, finish it off with the reverb, delay, and the auto pan. We're also gonna add the amplitude modulator to the mix knobs on these, and that's gonna give it that epicness.
I still get lost, what's mine? Memories back from time. All my thoughts are at night. All my life's on the line.
And there you go, 5 vocoder and talkbox effects inspired by famous songs. Now, if you didn't already, make sure you check the link in the description to get these presets for yourself, and also be sure to subscribe. And also let us know in the comments, what song or what vocal effect do you want to achieve? Let us know in the comments and we'll compile them and recreate it for you in a future video. Until next time, thank you for watching.